Hey everyone and welcome back. We're going to continue working our scarf. So we did the first half in the first part of the pattern in part 1, and now we're going to continue working the other half. Before starting, make sure that your first half of the scarf is long enough and the last semicircle you worked is the big one, not the small one. So you should stop working after finishing this big semicircle. Make sure you didn't finish the small semicircle and stop. If so, continue working until you finish a big semicircle. And let's start with the pattern. I'm going to make a magic knot, insert my hook inside the knot, and now we're going to chain 1 2 3 4 5 6 chains. Insert your hook in the first chain and slip stitch to form a ring. Now chain 3 and chain 1 more. The first 3 chains are my first double crochet. I yarned over and made a double crochet inside the ring, then chained 1, yarn over and double crochet once again, and repeat these steps until you obtain 4 spaces. And now that I have 4 spaces, I'm going to start working on my second row. And here I'm going to chain 3, flip my work, inside the first space insert your hook and make a double crochet. Once again, yarn over and make a double crochet in the same space, and repeat your steps until you finish the entire row. So now I've finished this row and I'm going to join the work together, the first part with the second part. Here I'm going to insert my hook at the bottom of this double crochet and make a slip stitch to join the work together. Next I'm going to chain 3 and insert my hook in this stitch. Here I'm going to skip these 3 chains right here and insert my hook in the next space or stitch and make a slip stitch. And now I'm going to chain 3 again, and make a puff stitch inside the space around the 3 chains we just did, the same puff stitch as I did before. And again I'm going to skip 2 stitches from this piece. In the third stitch insert your hook and make a double crochet, and that is our first puff stitch. So now I'm going to work my remaining puff stitches. Here I did or chain 3, and you can make your puff stitch around the double crochet or inside it. So next I skipped 1 chain, and in the next chain I double crocheted 3 chains and a puff stitch around the double crochet, yarn over, skip 1 stitch. Repeat these steps until you get 7 puff stitches as usual. So after finishing the 7 puff stitches, I'm going to flip my work and start with a new row. To start the new row, we should chain 6 and yarn over and insert our hook in the second chain to make our first puff stitch in this row. So make your first puff stitch, yarn over and insert your hook between these two puff stitches to make a double crochet, and then chain 3 and make your second puff stitch around these 3 chains or the double crochet, and continue working in the same way until you finish this row. Come back to continue together. After finishing the 7 puff stitches, I'm going to join again this piece with the other one. So here I'm going to insert my hook at the top of this puff stitch. Right here I'm going to skip these stitches and insert my hook at the top and make a slip stitch to join them together. Here I'm going to show you how it started to be joined together as if the pattern is continuous and wavy. Next I'm going to chain 3 and insert my hook at the top of this double crochet and make a slip stitch. Now I'm going to flip my work to start with a new row, and this row, as usual, we will make the same steps as we did before. So chain 2 and around this 3 chains, yarn over and make a double crochet, chain 2 once again and make a double crochet inside the same space, and chain 2 around the next space or around the next chains, make a double crochet, chain 2 and another double crochet around the same chains. So around the chains make 2 double crochets, 2 chains in between. Until you reach the end you should have 15 double crochets. And now I finished the row. Here are my 15 double crochets, 2 chains in between each 2 double crochets. Flip your work once again, and now we're starting with the row that's all double crochets. Chain 3, count them as your first double crochet, yarn over and inside the first space make 2 double crochets, then make 1 double crochet over the double crochet from the previous row, and repeat your steps until the end of the row. So the last double crochet here will be in the slip stitch we worked at first. So after finishing the double crochets, insert your hook at the bottom of this double crochet from the other piece and make a slip stitch to join them together. So the double crochets from the first piece will guide you to where you should join each row with the other side of the scarf. And here I'm going to continue working on the second semicircle, which is the small one, and I'm going to show you how we're going to attach it or join it with the other piece. Okay, so now we're going to start with the new semicircle, which is the small one right here, and I'm going to start with my chains 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and insert your hook in the same stitch we're working in and make a slip stitch to form a ring like this. And now start with your first row. Chain 3, insert your hook at the top of this double crochet and make a slip stitch. Flip your work, chain 1, yarn over, inside this ring we just formed make a double crochet, and again chain 1, yarn over and make another double crochet, chain 1, make a third double crochet, chain 1, and here from this first semicircle we've worked, skip 2 stitches and in the third stitch make a slip stitch. Now I'm going to chain 3, skip 2 stitches, in the third I'm going to slip stitch and flip my work to start with the next row. So this is my first space, yarn over and make 2 double crochets in the first space. Next I'm going to yarn over and make a double crochet over the double crochet from the previous row. Again, make 2 double crochets in the next space and continue working in the same way until you finish this row. So here I need to join the piece with the first side of the scarf, and here I will insert my hook at the bottom of this double crochet and slip stitch to join them together. Now I'm going to start with the next row, chain 3, insert your hook at the top of this double crochet and make a slip stitch. I'm going to show you the pattern during this tutorial. Flip your work, chain 2, yarn over, skip 1, and in the next make a double crochet, chain 2, yarn over, skip 1, in the next make a double crochet, yarn over, chain 2, yarn over, and skip 1 stitch again and make a double crochet, and continue working using the same method until you finish the entire row. And here I'm going to show you how I'm going to join this piece again with the other piece. And here I'm going to skip 2 stitches in the third, make a slip stitch, chain 3 once again and skip 2 stitches in the third, make a slip stitch, flip your work and start with the next row. Now here is my first space. I'm going to make 2 double crochets in the first space without chaining, then I'm going to make 1 double crochet over the next double crochet from the previous row. Continue working until you finish this row and you'll get a row with double crochets all around. And now that I've finished working here, I did 2 double crochets around the chain and I'm going to make a third one as my last double crochet. And here insert your hook at the bottom of the double crochet from the other piece of the scarf and make a slip stitch to join them together. And here how it looks like. And now after finishing 1 small semicircle and 1 big semicircle, I'm going to repeat and make a big semicircle. So as usual, I will start by chaining 5 and inserting my hook in the same stitch and making a slip stitch to form a ring. Next I'm going to chain 3, insert my hook in the top at the top of this double crochet, and now I'm going to flip my work and start with a new row. I'm going to chain 1 and yarn over and make a double crochet in the ring we just formed. Next I'm going to chain 1, yarn over and double crochet, chain 1, yarn over, double crochet once again, chain 1, and from this side I'm going to skip 2 stitches, and in the third stitch I'm going to slip stitch so the pieces are joined together, and 3 chains again, skip 2 stitches, in the third insert your hook and make a slip stitch. Okay, now flip your work again, yarn over, and repeat the same steps we did in the first big semicircle. So now all the rows will be the same. Here I'm going to make the last 2 double crochets in the last space, and insert your hook at the bottom of this double crochet from the piece we did in part 1, and here we've joined the 2 pieces together. Okay, now I'm going to show you the diagram of the pattern you should be. Okay guys, so this is the diagram or the pattern. You can find it on my Facebook page. I will leave the link in the description box, so you can follow up with me while you're watching the video and at the pattern at the same time, so you can understand the process and the steps of the work. So I hope this pattern would ease things up for you, and if not, you can repeat the video to watch it over again and repeat the steps. So now all you need to do is to finish working on the scarf. You can make it as long as you want or as short as you want. And next I'm going to show you how to join the ends of the scarf. So here I almost finished working on my sample piece, and I want to show you how we're going to join the last part. And the last step I did is to make the big piece or the big semicircle, and now I'm going to show you how to make the small semicircle and join it with the end of the other piece. So here I'm going to chain 5 and insert my hook in the same stitch and make a slip stitch. Then chain 3 and insert your hook at the top of the double crochet in the other side of the work or the other piece as usual. So insert your hook and make a slip stitch, and here we're going to flip our work. I will chain 1. In the ring I'm going to yarn over and make a double crochet, chain 1, yarn over and double crochet again, chain 1 and double crochet, chain 1, and here I'm going to skip 2 stitches in the third slip stitch to join both sides. Again, chain 3 and skip 2 stitches in the third, make a slip stitch and turn your work. Yarn over in this space. I'm going to make 2 double crochets. As usual, repeat the steps, 2 double crochets in the spaces and 1 double crochet over each double crochet until you finish the whole set of stitches. And here I'm going to finish this row and insert my hook in the bottom of the double crochet from the other side and make a slip stitch as usual. Next I am going to chain 3, insert my hook at the top of the double crochet from the other piece, turn over your work and chain 2, skip 1 stitch and make a double crochet in the next stitch, chain 2, skip 1 in the next, make a double crochet, and continue working as we did before until we have 7 spaces. These are 6 spaces, and now I'm going to make the 7th by inserting my hook in the third stitch from the other piece and making a slip stitch, and here are my 7 spaces. Again, chain 3, skip 2 stitches and insert your hook in the third and make a slip stitch. Turn your work, yarn over. In the first space I will make 2 double crochets. Over each double crochet make 1 double crochet. Okay, the steps are the same as before, and now I finished all the double crochets. Okay, now I will insert my hook at the bottom of the double crochet from the other side and make a slip stitch. Okay, and now we have joined the first side, and now we're going to join the second side because we have 2 loose parts. So what we're going to do simply is to go to part 3 and watch how to make the edgings. During working on the edging, I'm going to join the other ends while working on the edges. So finish this part as I've showed you and come back and watch part 3 to finish together the lace scarf. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and thumbs up if you like the video. Bye bye.